Dang, nation. Dang. It's about that time. Welcome to TRU RAIDER Podcast. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to TRU RAIDER Podcast. This is the TACO-BOUT Raiders Tuesday Live. Now, we got some breaking news, man. And I know I'm on the late show, man. You can't even hit me with all that. This already broke, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm not the one breaking the news, right? In fact, I took the day off of work today because I had some family stuff to address. And yeah, man, I heard the news a couple hours ago that we are shopping Davante Adams, right? Davante Adams said that he prefers to be traded. Now, the Raiders haven't officially put out anything. In fact, I'm checking my phone right now to make sure nothing dropped in the last couple minutes. But the Raiders have not put out anything themselves saying, yes, we are officially shopping him. And Davante Adams did not say himself, at least on social media or, any kind of podcast videos. He did not say it himself, but we're getting reports from Ian Rappaport and who was the other one? I think it was Vincent Bosnior. No, Mike Garofalo. Mike Garofalo and Ian Rappaport saying, yeah, that this is what's happening, right? Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation out there in the world right now, right? So this news comes after, yesterday Antonio Pierce liked the tweet, man. He liked the tweet. My 2 cents, salute. Antonio Pierce liked the tweet yesterday, and honestly, I can't remember who put out the tweet, but they were speculating about that Davante Adams could have played his last snap with the Las Vegas Raiders. And Antonio Pierce liked it. And what that stirred up was a bunch of craziness, right? Everybody's all over the place. And since then, he unliked the tweet. He didn't put out an official statement saying, oh, it was on accident, or, oh, yeah, this is what we believe. Sorry, I didn't, like nothing. Put out nothing. So Davante Adams was on the Up and Adams show this morning, and she asked about, hey, what's going on with this tweet and da-da-da. How fast was it until Antonio Pierce reached out to you? And he was like, I haven't talked to him. And she was like in utter disbelief. Like it almost seemed, because she looked off camera and it looked like somebody signaled her to like be careful what you say right now, and it was kind of weird. And it looked like a very uncomfortable situation, you guys. And, I got to say that I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed. You see, Davante Adams, he came over to the Raiders under Josh McDaniels. He grew up a Raider fan. He wanted to play with his college quarterback, Derek Carr. He was really worried about the future of the Packers under Jordan Love. He wasn't sure what that was going to look like. And Aaron Rodgers was kind of being wishy-washy on if he was even going to play. So, yeah, Davante Adams, he decided, I'm going to go play for the team I rooted for as a kid. I'm going to get closer to home where my family lives. That way they could drive out to see some of my games because they don't fly. And he got to do that, right? He got to go play with his old college quarterback. And he had a great season. However, Josh McDaniels sucked, right? That's just the simple and plain of it, right? Josh McDaniels was an awful, awful coach and made some bad decisions. It seemed like Josh McDaniels was convinced that he was going to get Tom Brady. And so he moved on from Derek Carr. He benched him. And then after benching Derek Carr, Tom Brady retired. And the reports that came out recently was that the Raiders tried to keep Derek Carr at that point, and Derek Carr had already had enough. He said, once he made my wife cry, that was it, right? And so we ended up with Jimmy Garoppolo. So Davante Adams went from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr, which, Derek Carr is not Aaron Rodgers, right? Was Derek Carr a pretty good quarterback? Yeah. He had his faults, but yeah, he was a good quarterback, right? And then he goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. And then he ends up with Jimmy Garoppolo, who is just Jimmy Glass, could not throw the deep ball, could not, and there was the Netflix special, and everybody saw Davante Adams was frustrated and feeling like he needed to get out of there before he gets killed, right? Because he was getting thrown hospital balls on a regular basis. Okay, cool. Then Jimmy Garoppolo goes out and they put in Brian Hoyer. Then Antonio Pierce takes over and we get Aiden O'Connell. And during the time with Aiden O'Connell, okay, him and Davante Adams did pretty decent. Davante Adams said some good things about Aiden O'Connell going through this offseason and stuff, which, of course, he's going to say that, whether he feels that or not. And then Gardner Minshew wins the starting job. And after Gardner Minshew wins the starting job, we get 4 games. Eric, salute, man. What's up? Yeah, my 2 cents. When the Raiders didn't obtain a true QB1, knew it would lead to rebuild if everything didn't go accordingly. So, yeah, Davante has 4 games of Gardner Minshew. He says, I'm going to head out. Because what's been very, very obvious is that he is not going to get the targets that he wants, right? He wants his stat line. He wants his Hall of Fame career. He wants to be able to hit 1,000 yards each year. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants these things. And it's very obvious with the offense that we have right now that he's not going to get those kind of games. He's not going to have games where he's getting 100 to 200 yards receiving. He's going to have games where he's getting 40 yards receiving. And it just does not work, right? So there was a lot of speculation that went out. My 2 cents has high hopes for Zamir White, but Raiders didn't obtain a proven RB1 either. That's correct, man. And so really where I stand right now is Gardner Minshew is not a quarterback 1, and Zamir White is not a running back 1, right? If we're moving on from Davante Adams, let's put in Aiden O'Connell. Let's put Alexander Madison to be that running back 1. Have Zamir White be a change of pace back or something like that. But really, we're not heading in a good direction, right? So there's been speculation after speculation. Adams wants out. And he kept saying, I do not want out. However, if I put myself in the shoes of Davante Adams, and there's all this speculation that the season is going horrible. It's not looking very good. I'm frustrated. And then all of a sudden, AP likes that tweet about that Davante Adams might have played his last game. And then he's like, and I didn't even get a phone call. That could be the straw that broke the camel's back to where he says, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. And I could see that. Another thing I could see is that he's trying to play the politically correct card, right? And doesn't want to be that guy that says, you know what, I want out. Maybe he wants to play that PR role of saying, well, I tried to stay, I wanted to stay, and then they didn't want me to stay, and so then I went, Maybe that's it. I don't know. Joe C., any chance we get a good QB this season? No, there's not. In fact, I don't even think that we get a first-round pick for Davante Adams, right? That's all the reports that are going out, all of the content creators, everything I've seen, all signs point to we won't even get a first-round pick for Davante Adams, which is sad, right? We gave up a first and a second for him, and honestly, I think he's worth a first-round pick. But people are looking at things like his contract and his age, and there's just a lot of things that people are like, you're probably going to get like a third for him. A third for Davante. We got a third-round pick for Darren Waller. maybe from the Jets. So that is a scenario I could see where we end up moving Davante Adams to the Jets for Hassan Reddick and like a fifth. I personally would want Hassan Reddick in a second round pick, but they're not going to give that up. But really, Hassan Reddick does not want to play there. He's made it very clear he's losing money every week. He's losing a lot of money every single week because he don't want to play there, right? Which means his trade value is zilch. He's not worth anything, right? Especially because players that hold out tend to not perform very well at all. You know, that's just history. But what I could see is that if we picked up Hassan Reddick, which I don't even know if we need that anymore, right? Tyree Wilson was like our highest graded defensive player or whatever by PFF, which didn't make any sense to me really, but he's looking a little bit better. Max probably isn't going to be out very long. And Charles Snowden and Kalavion Chason have both proved that they are actually pretty good players, right? I'd take them over Janarius Robinson any day. Now, would Hassan Reddick be better than them? Yes, he would, right? So if it's like, well, we got to move on, so let's do this, I could see us making that move. However, if we move on from Davante Adams, I want a quarterback. And I don't think that we're going to get a quarterback this season out of anything. Maybe Russell Wilson, and I don't want Russell Wilson. So then what, right? Then what do we do? Or unless we get Sam Darnold, right? Joking. So really, it's like the best move for us is to pick up some kind of draft capital for Davante Adams. And if it's not a first-round pick, then I don't see us getting anything that's going to get us a quarterback, which is pathetic, honestly. Like, all right, because in an ideal world, right, we would get a first-round pick and just a first round, nothing else. It's not like how we gave up a first and a second. It's been a couple years, his contract, things like that. Okay, cool. So then, if we got a first-round pick for Davante Adams, then next year we could package that together with the first-round pick wherever we pick from, right? And then maybe something else to be able to move up in the draft and actually be able to select a quarterback at a pretty high pick, right? But the problem is that it looks like Davante Adams' value has plummeted, which is horrible, right? Because we let Derek Carr go for nothing. We got absolutely zero for Derek Carr, which pisses me off, right? It's like if we're going to move on from superstar players or even, because I don't think Derek Carr is a superstar, right? I'm saying Davante Adams. I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. I don't think he's a superstar. But if we're going to be moving on from these level of players, we need to get something in return. If we're getting a third-round pick for Darren Waller, who is hurt, who only played one season and only like half a season because he was hurt, and then he retired, it's like we got to be able to get something better than that for Davante Adams. Because Davante Adams still has a lot of good play left in him. He still has several years left in him. But, it sucks, right? Because if you put Davante Adams in a good offense with a good quarterback, he's going to get a lot done. Still. Raider D, 87. We can package picks, but we are just assuming that somebody will play ball with us. Takes two to dance, homie. And you're exactly right. Like look at Jaden Daniels out there. He is tearing it up. He is like his first couple of games. We're not even going to count those, right? But then since then, right, the last two games, he's looked absolutely amazing. And I knew that this kid would, right? And this is a guy that we allegedly tried to trade up for. And then what ended up happening was the Commanders were not selling, right? And you cannot buy something that somebody is not selling. If somebody shows up in my yard right now and tries to buy my car, I'm not selling it to them, right? Well, unless they give me an insane amount for it, sure, right? But if they only want to give me like what I owe on it, no. Why? Why am I doing that? So then I have to go through the hassle of going to buy another car and, like, things like that. I'm not selling it. He never really had a chance. Carr, too many changing of OCs and head coaches. And Davante Adams is seeing that same kind of thing that's happening in our organization, right? And for years, people say, oh, the Raiders are an awful organization. They're dysfunctional. They're blah, 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 right? And we don't want to believe that, right? Because the shield before anything else. But really what it's come down to is that for many years, we've had bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, bad hires. We bring in coaches that don't perform to what we think they're going to perform to. We're bringing awful coordinators. We've had awful GMs. Tom Telesco's included in that, right? I mean, sure, I think that his first 3 picks in the draft, in fact, I like the whole draft, right? But I think that Coupon Tom is a big reason why we didn't get a quarterback. I don't even know if we actually made an offer to get a quarterback. I really don't. I really like Josh Jacobs, right? A report came out recently. Josh Jacobs agreed to take $8 million a year with us. But he had the stipulation of, but you go get a quarterback, a real quarterback. And Tom Telesco told him, go sign that money from Green Bay, right? Go get that contract from Green Bay. And that is stupid. That right there tells me that they said, no, we're actually not going to get a quarterback. We're just going to get Gardner Minshew. We had Cliff Kingsbury come in, and reports went out. Ooh, Raiders signed Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, and everybody's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, he pulls out and says no. And then supposedly, they didn't want to offer a 3rd year on his contract. They only wanted to do 2 years. Or is it that Cliff Kingsbury got here and found out, oh, the Raiders are going to roll forward with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell? I think I'm going to go over there to the Commanders, and I'll have an opportunity to either coach Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, right, who he was the coordinator of in college. The Bolts are still laughing at us. They are. And so are the Bears. So are the Bears, man. I haven't heard a single Bears fan say, man, you guys, I can't believe you guys got Luke Getsy, man. I'm jealous. No, they laugh. They're like, some of them don't even laugh. Some of them say, you know what, I just feel bad for you, right? So what I do want to talk about is this last game, right? This last game against the Browns, and I know it was the Browns, but we did not have Davante Adams out there. And this offense looked pretty decent, right? I wouldn't say that our offense necessarily looked super good, but it looked pretty decent, right? And we do have some good receiver options without Davante Adams, right? Jacoby Myers all of a sudden becomes receiver 1. Trey Tucker becomes receiver 2. Then we got Brock Bowers, and I don't even know what's going on with Michael Mayer. And then we have DJ Turner to fill in for that slot guy, right? And then we have Tyreek McAllister as well. We have a pretty good receiving core that I can feel confident without Davante Adams. And there's speculation that maybe Davante Adams, the kind of the demand that he has to be able to get the ball could be something that's messing with Gardner Minshew. It could be messing with this offense. It could be holding us back. I don't really know. I can't say that our offense is going to look better if we move on from Davante Adams, because I don't think it will. But I don't think that, oh no, we lost Davante Adams, now our offense has no chance, because let's face it, our offense already sucks. It does. And so I don't think that it's going to suck more without Davante Adams. In fact, I think that it can help the next man up kind of mentality, kind of rally, and maybe make something happen, So I'm interested to see what that's going to look like. Also, something that happened this last game is after the Panthers game, Antonio Pierce was saying that people made business decisions, and so we're going to make some business decisions moving forward. And then there was speculation. Oh, it's about Jack Jones. Oh, it's about Davante Adams. Oh, it's about Trayvon Merrick, right? Let's see. Jack Jones was benched for the whole first quarter against the Browns. And then Davante Adams all of a sudden comes up with a hamstring injury, and everybody went, "Oh no, he's got a hamstring injury," and that's what players do right before they're trying to get traded because they're trying to remain healthy while they're on the trade market. Well, guess what? Now he's saying that he prefers a trade. So was he actually injured? Same thing happened with Josh Jacobs last year. He didn't play those last 4 games. He was having a hamstring injury, right? I never believed it. I believed that Josh Jacobs knew that he was going to go to a different team and he didn't want to end up getting hurt in those last 4 games. And so he said, "No, I'm sitting out. That way I can retain my value." And that's a good business decision, right? So was Davante Adams making a business decision, right? Was he what Antonio Pierce was talking about? And he said, "We're going to make some moving forward." Then all of a sudden, Antonio Pierce likes this tweet saying that Davante Adams may have played his last down. And now Davante Adams is saying that he would prefer to be traded. Now, he didn't actually request a trade, right? Because to request a trade, it involves putting in some paperwork and some stuff that hasn't been put in yet. But that's where we're at, man. Anthony, what's up? What's up? So my thoughts about it. I think that this is kind of the inevitable. Like, and I said it at the beginning, man, where I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You know, this is yet another star player that the Raiders get, underutilize, and then lose. I felt that way about Marshawn Lynch. I felt that way about Randy Moss. I even felt that way about Jerry Rice. At least we went to, you know, like we did some stuff with Jerry Rice, right? At least. But it happens. I feel like it happens way too much, man. You know, we get people and either they're outside of their prime or we don't utilize them correctly, and then they end up walking, man. So I can't even be mad at Davante Adams for this, man. I can't be mad at all. So Carr, I don't remember. Did he claim an injury? Because I do remember that Carr was benched by Josh McDaniels. I do remember that. I can't remember if he was claiming an injury though. Was it that he claimed an injury and then never got to see the field again or something? I don't really remember. Let me know, man. But yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, man. It's really, really disappointing. Mostly because we had an opportunity this offseason to get a quarterback if we packaged Davante Adams in a trade deal. And there's at one point where I had proposed that we move on from Colton Miller, and he's performing horribly. And there's even, you know, I even talked about like, well, what if we were to package Davante Adams and Colton Miller and our first round pick to be able to move up? And people said that was stupid. No, you don't know football. I'm not a football expert. I'm a Raiders fan, right? But like if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, Colton Miller's having shoulder issues and he's going through surgery. Guess what? He's not going to be the same. Move him while he's worth something. Davante Adams. I think that it was very clear that, like, because of his contract, that we didn't have any plans on keeping him past this year. Move him while he's worth something. Well, division's still tight. 3-way tie for second. We play Donkey Sunday. Would you wait to trade him off season? See if we can make a run? I mean, right now it's speculation, except for the fact that Ian Rappaport and geez, I already forgot his name again. Oh well. Ian Rappaport is the one that I saw that reported this, right? Okay. Anything that Ian Rappaport says, it holds water. I mean, so basically, this could be speculation. It could be that Adams continues to play for us, and we see no signs of it, right? we have until November 5th is the trade deadline. But if the rumors are already spreading that we are shopping Davante Adams, people are going to bite. And it's whether or not they offer something significant. And I have a feeling that we're going to end up making a trade that we don't actually see the fruit from this year. Because it's probably going to be draft capital for 2025. And as long as we get something that can get us a quarterback, sure. You know, I mean, there's plenty of good young receivers out there, man. We've seen Patrick Mahomes go out there with Travis Kelce and like a bunch of no-name receivers and go win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So to pay Davante Adams over 40, I think it's $44 million cap hit next year, and not have somebody to throw him the ball, I get it. I just think that the timing is it's shit timing is what it is. It's like why right now? And that could be that because of the business decision comment by Antonio Pierce, that then we're in a position where it was Davante Adams, or maybe he pissed off Davante Adams throughout this thing and was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I don't know, man. Antonio Pierce, he's an emotional guy. Antonio Pierce is an emotional guy, and he wears his emotions on his sleeve. You know, it's very clear when he's happy, he's Raiders and, you know, talking all this shit, right? But then when shit goes bad, like the Panthers game, he looks like somebody just kicked his dog. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks like somebody stole his ice cream from him in the playground. Looking all upset, talking all upset, right? And so, I don't know. I'm wondering if there's some things that happen behind the scenes that we don't know about, some conversations. You know, I know that there was some speculation about that Davante Adams, he's not doing the blocking and the things that they want him to do on offense. And, you know, and I get that, right? I mean, he's Davante Adams. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it has to do with any kind of conflicts, which they're trying to paint a picture of there's a conflict, or if it's simply that the Raiders are realizing we don't got it. We don't got it this year, and we need to go ahead and move on from our biggest asset, right? Because we're not going to move on from Max Crosby. So we got to move on from our biggest asset on the offense, who's going to cost us a lot of money next year anyway. Get some kind of draft capital and try to build something. And if it's done correctly, I will not be mad. You know, I mean, I'm not surprised by this, right? But like, man, if we get a 3rd round pick for Davante Adams, I'm going to be pissed. Because at that point, you might as well restructure his contract and play him. Simple as that. But if he wants out, then you can't force somebody to want to play, right? Davante Adams isn't really in a position where he has to just play because a team doesn't want to move on, you know? And so, like, what would you guys want to see as compensation for a Davante Adams trade? You know, because there's a couple of things that could happen. We could get draft capital. We could get a Hassan Reddick, maybe a Hassan Reddick in a later pick, maybe a Brandon Ayuk, which I doubt, a straight across trade. 49ers are kind of hurting over there, man. And I don't know, without Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, the team's not looking the same. Could be that they feel like the Brandon Ayuk drama from the offseason, maybe they're like, nah, let's just go ahead and move on. Kind of doubt it, but maybe. There was another trade that got pitched out there of like for Russell Wilson in a 2nd. And I don't think that the Steelers are going to give us Russell Wilson in a 2nd round pick for Davante Adams. And I don't know that Justin Fields is really going to give Davante Adams what he really wants. However, the Steelers are 3-1. And you add Davante Adams to that offense, and all of a sudden it becomes a different beast. So I could see it. Do I want Russell Wilson? No. Do I think Russell Wilson is better than Gardner Minshew? Yes. Do I think that it's worth it? No. Wilson did look pretty good at the end of last year. I know he's dealing with some injury issues. I personally have never liked him. Could he play Luke Getzey's offense better? Maybe, but then he has to learn a whole nother offense in the middle of a season. I mean, I would rather see Aiden O'Connell play than Russell Wilson, but if we ended up picking up Russell Wilson, I wouldn't be too mad. I would rather have Justin Fields than Russell Wilson, honestly. Bugsy Raider, what's good? What's good? Salute. Just, tripping out about this Davante Adams shit, man. That's what's going on. Just trying to, right now, just kind of fucking running through my head, because really, I saw the news that came out, man, and I watched a couple of videos, man. I was listening to some of the lives earlier, man, and I wasn't really super focused on it. I had some other stuff going on, so I had my earbud in and couldn't really concentrate on it very good, and I didn't really get a chance to process it very good before I went live. And so now some of my thoughts are just kind of coming out on the air because I don't really know how I feel about it. Or what we can get for Adams, because I'd like to think that he's still worth a lot in trade compensation, but everybody else that I've heard today is acting like he's not, and if he's not worth a whole lot in trade compensation, then basically we're going to have lost the Davante Adams deal no matter where he goes, because like the Darren Waller deal, we got a 3rd round pick for Darren Waller, which I thought was an amazing pick. We ended up getting Trey Tucker out of that, and Trey Tucker is awesome, man. I would much rather have Trey Tucker than Darren Waller, right? And I think a lot of people got attached to Darren Waller because he had that 1 year where, he had over 100 receptions and over 1,000 yards and stuff. But Darren Waller, man, he was never healthy. It just didn't seem very focused on football. And sure enough, he played 1 year for the Giants and then retired. So we won that trade, right? But if we move on from Davante Adams for a 3rd round pick, okay, maybe we pick up somebody pretty good with that 3rd round pick. But Davante Adams is not going to pull Darren Waller and quit football to go become a rapper. That's just not going to happen. Davante Adams still has several good years, especially if he gets in a system that's, got a good quarterback and things like that. And then there's a lot of speculation going on that, we're going to end up trading him to the Chiefs because Rashid Rice just went down for season with an injury. If we traded him to the Chiefs, Al Davis would probably roll over in his grave, man. Like, we can't be trading Davante Adams within our division, even for a 1st round pick to the Chiefs, man, especially because it's going to be a late 1st round pick. No, I don't want to see that, man. I do not want to see that at all. So I'm going to check real quick to see if we have any news updates, man. I don't know what this holds or not. Sports Illustrated saying, breaking, offer for Raiders Davante Adams would have to be of substance. A potential Davante Adams trade would have to be worth it for the Las Vegas Raiders. Reports have surfaced today that the Las Vegas Raiders would consider a trade for star wide receiver Davante Adams. ESPN's Paul Gutierrez reported on Tuesday that sources told ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter that the Raiders made it known to teams they would consider trading Adams in a deal that would entail a 2nd round pick and additional compensation for Vegas. We cannot confirm any details, but a source told Las Vegas Raiders on Sports Illustrated that the Raiders are not shopping Adams, but it would have to be a substantial. Wait, what? We cannot confirm any details, but a source told Las Vegas Raiders on Sports Illustrated that the Raiders are not shopping Adams, but it would take a substantive offer to be considered. Adams is in his third season with the Raiders and just missed a game due to injury for the first time since joining the organization. Rumors have circulated for most of Adams' career with the Silver and Black that the star wideout has wanted out. The speculation first took off when Adams' good friend and college teammate Derek Carr was released by the club. Carr was a big reason Adam had expressed interest in wanting to go to Sin City in the first place. So, I mean, basically what we're looking at is more, instead of them actively seeking a trade, it's more of a, well, let's hear what you have to offer. And they said a second round and further compensation. So, yeah, if let's say the Jets said, hey, we'll give you a second round pick and Hassan Reddick, take it. Take it. Do I think that second round pick is going to get us a quarterback? Probably not. Do I think that Tom Telesco would make a really good pick with that second round pick? Yeah, probably. I want a quarterback, though. If we're moving on from Adams, I want a quarterback. Anyway, you guys, I just wanted to get on real quick and kind of share some of my thoughts, get with the nation on this whole thing, man. We'll see what unfolds in the next couple of days. I have a feeling there's going to be a lots more rumors and news and things like that come out over the next couple of days. We're going to have to see, does Davante Adams even play against the Broncos? What's that going to look like? You guys, I should be on Friday. I know I got a couple of things going on Friday, but I should be able to do the TGI Raiders Friday live in the morning. So keep an eye out for me, man. And, you know, life happens sometimes. So if you don't catch me there, I will be doing a watch party this Sunday against the Broncos. So definitely check me out on Sunday. And like always, I love you, nation. See you on the next one.